Are we alive yet? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I do not know. Okay, we're live. Awesome. How are you doing? Soul being absolutely beautiful every time. It's your host, Sweet Venus, on this mothership. So, the message today is about your madness. Because as system disruptors, as visionaries, as leaders who came to anchor in New Earth, the old Earth is not going to have space for us. There's never going to be space for you to be who you are and to thrive it. And that's the whole point. The whole point of you not being able to be understood and to fit in, because you came here to experience all of that. Go within, rearrange yourself, and come out and shift the old earth to align with new earth frequencies. That's your sacred role. But the sacred role doesn't need validation from other people, which is part of the human conditioning. We want to belong, we want to be seen, we want to be understood, and especially if your parents didn't validate you as a kid, didn't give you attention as a kid. I get it, right? There's always a tendency to compensate for what we never got as kids. But your sacred role is all about honoring your human experience, not making it wrong, and using it to inform you on who you want to keep closest to you and who you want to keep the furthest away from you, right? Yes, we're all here, love and light, but the sun is not always love and light. The sun is going to decide, like, today it's going to be hot, I'm going to burn you up, and it's going to be on my terms, and you're going to wear those spaghetti tops, and in about 3 hours I'm going to freeze you up, because that's what I do, right? I'm going to do whatever I want to do. So you want to come into that solar presence, your soul blueprint that doesn't have any conditioning, that doesn't care what other people think, because at the end of the day, your needs, your ego needs and your soul needs get to be fulfilled by you. Everybody else is just the cherry on top. Yes, we do need each other to coexist, but you need to come within yourself and be in integrity with what's at play in your heart, because only you came to manifest what was given to you in your DNA. So when you find yourself like, man, I feel crazy, you're gaslighting yourself, you're doubting all your ideas, you're judging your past self, you're trying to fit in and fit into other people's blueprints, you're not really living into your fullest potential, and that's why you feel depressed. That's why you feel like life is boring, like, yeah, like, man, like, it's so dim here, because you're dimming your light. Life feels dimish because you're dimming your light, because you're the center of it all. The light comes from you and projects onto reality. So when you're dimming your light and everything, all your relationships are boring, your conversations are boring, what you're creating is just your life is just it's because you are making yourself There are choices, internal choices you're making that are closing your energy and making you right? So you want to go back within yourself and ask yourself, like, what agreements am I making quietly in the darkness? So you want to bring awareness, you want to bring light to all those agreements you're making. It could be agreements you're making whilst you're listening to music about somebody who's getting cheated on, and you're in there and you're singing it with all your heart and your energy, and you've never been cheated on with your life, but you're creating momentum to be cheated on, right? Those silent agreements, the comments you like on social media, what comments, what are you co-creating with? It's the small, tiny things. And I'm not saying this so that you judge yourself, so that you shame yourself, so that you make it wrong. It's, I want you to bring more awareness to where you currently are. That is creating more muck. That is creating momentum towards what is not in alignment with your soul blueprint. Because once you understand that and you master this, life becomes easier. It becomes easier to pivot. It becomes easier to co-create with life and to be in your full sovereign power, because you're so aware of your weaknesses. Your weaknesses are not meant to disempower you. They're meant to inform you on what kind of support you need, where you need to put most of your energy to in support. Right? This is where you want to be very picky with the team you pick to support you, because you want them to be that leg that you don't have. But the leg has to be compatible with your soul blueprint. It can't be against your soul blueprint. So if you find yourself like, man, like no matter I work so hard and it's super wobbly, I want you to really pay attention to this. Like, is my team in alignment with my soul blueprint, or maybe it's in alignment with my ego blueprint? And when you're dismantling that, it's not about, oh my gosh, I'm failing, how could I not figure this out, how could I not learn this? No, everything that you go through, it's a lesson. It's there to inform you about something. There's an opportunity to decondition yourself and close that timeline for good. And for you to close it for good, you want to be willing to go to the root of the problem, the root of what created this, what made me attract this, what made me normalize this. You want to go to the root, and it's going to be messy. I won't lie, it's going to be messy. But this is where I come in, because the messiness is art. The messiness is part of the play. The messiness is sexy, right? Because we've been conditioned to believe that it has to look like this, it has to be like this is the blueprint of life. If it doesn't look like this, you're a failure. I'm like, who decided this? It's somebody who was like, you know what, I'm going to convince other people that my life is the best, my path, my blueprint is the best out there. And of course, that's where you want to come to when you awaken to your soul blueprint. Of course, you're going to believe your blueprint to life is the best one for you. It's not going to be the best for everybody, because everybody has their own blueprint. But of course, because we're all on a different consciousness ladder, right? No, it doesn't mean that we're better than other people who are on lower consciousness levels, because we all came from the same starting point. But because we came here with different lessons, we have different soul blueprints, so we have different lessons, and we all have different consciousness levels. But just because you are here doesn't mean that okay, let me reframe. So you want to really pay attention to where you're giving away your power to people, to where you're leaning into other people's understanding to the point where you ignore your own intuition, your own gnosis, your own deep desires. Because your deep desires, especially if you grew up in the church, we've been told that desires are wrong, they're selfish, but truly they are codes to help you expand into your truest expansion, to your truest potential. They're codes to help you to align you with your truest potential. They're a way to expand beyond who you've been conditioned to be. And when you feel resentful for other people who are living in the highest timeline, in the highest embodiment, you get jealous and you feel you need to bring them down, you need to bring Bible quotes and whatever, to use fear mongering to disempower people from living their truest potential. It's a mirror, really, to look within yourself like, oh my gosh, there are parts within me that I'm pushing down. And this person makes me look at them, and I don't want to look at them, because that means I have to take responsibility for all this time and energy I put in into disempowering myself. And a part of that really is, it depends on the families we were born into, our souls were born into. And I used to believe it was wrong. Like, why is my family like this? Why are my parents like this? But really, when you raise your consciousness to your higher self's understanding, you realize that you actually chose your family because your these bloodlines hold the greatest value for you, and you hold the greatest value for them. So it's a win-win situation, right? So your body, your DNA holds immense value. So we cannot disconnect from our bodies. We cannot disconnect from our most authentic self, because once we do that, we're abandoning our God-given throne. What is your God-given throne? This is your center. This is your North Star. This is your where you attract everything from. You've already arrived in all timelines, in all time space. You've already arrived. So it's always coming back and finishing the circles, finishing them within yourself, finishing them within yourself, finishing them within yourself consistently. Because there's nothing outside of you that is not already within yourself. And that's true power. So when you come back within yourself and you sit on your God-given throne and you do the deconditioning work that separates you from your God-given throne, this is when you start moving faster, because you're aware of what's yours and what isn't yours. And what isn't yours, you're not really concerned with it. And when it comes into your field, you're more aware of it, like, oh, this is not mine. But I made room for it because this is how I was conditioned to think. So there's always going to be deeper levels of deconditioning no matter where we go to life. And this is why you want to shift from future faking, right? Like, oh, I'll only be happy when this happens. I'll only allow myself to receive money and whatnot only when it looks like this. You want to collapse that timeline, because that timeline continuously separates you from actually sitting in your God-given throne right here, right now. So you want to sit in your God-given throne right here, right now, in the center, right? And become fully aware of the stories that take you away from your center. Write all those stories down. Pay attention to those stories. And that's the work we're actually doing in Journal Back to Your Soul. I'll leave the link below. It's where we actually use journaling as technology. It's technology, but a lot of people don't know how to use it as technology. It's not a opportunity to be a victim and whatnot. And of which, yes, when you're emotionally wounded, when you're going through your stuff, you want to be vulnerable. That's where you want to be at. You want to hold yourself. You want to really see yourself in your most vulnerable state. But it's not about just like journaling, because it doesn't really do anything for you unless it's actually you're using it to just empty your thoughts. But there are easier ways to do it. But I'm teaching you how to use journaling as a way to activate your multidimensional self and to actually see your multidimensional self. It's all about asking the right questions, because the right questions bring a specific level of awareness, right? So it's the level of awareness that actually transforms you. It's not about doing more inner work. It's not about strategy. It's about asking the right questions. So you're going back to your madness. So in this world, we're taught that there's only one way to think. There's only one way to live. There's only one way to love. It should look like this and this and this and this. But people are just projecting their own limiting beliefs. 1, 2, also they're projecting their own blueprint. And when you do not have an inner authority, it's so easy for you to get pulled into this, because it's so magnetic. When someone has remembered who they truly are, when somebody has activated their soul blueprint and they're living through it, and life is so yummy and so rich, of course they want you to have this too. But when somebody doesn't have that awareness of realizing that, oh my gosh, it's not just mine, they also have their own, right? It's so easy to get pulled into that. And when you're not getting the results that you really want to at that level, you get so frustrated, and then you're like, you're bullying yourself, you're disempowering yourself, like, man, is there something wrong with me? No, nothing wrong with you, just the wrong blueprint. You want to come back within yourself. So I just want to look at my notes here. Yes, okay. So going deeper into deconditioning, going back to our bodies. So we have so much Think of how many ancestors came together to create this body. How many ancestors? I had it written somewhere. Till Swan did a course on connecting to your roots, and she had a specific number. It's over a million ancestors. The energy of over a million ancestors came together to create you. Over a million ancestors. Think about that. Think about how many is a million people coming together. You can't even hold, most people can't even hold having the attention of a million people, right? You gotta have like a really good nervous system to be able to be perceived by a million people. But it's already happening right now in your body. It has been happening all the time. And you're living through their conditioning, through their coding. So you want to become really aware of the mind matrix that you were incarnated into. The mind matrix is the belief systems, the nervous system programming, the conditioning that came from your bloodlines, right? And most of it was for survival. It was for it was circumstantial. Maybe they lived through war. Maybe it was a time and era where they were told not to connect to Mother Earth because it was witchy. Because there were so many people who had different agendas to control people, and they knew that people who were in touch with nature, who had an inner authority, were the biggest risk. So they created a whole propaganda to disconnect people from their inner authority, from connecting to the mysticism that's happening right now, because God is mystery, right? It's the unknown. That's why we call it God, because it's something bigger, much bigger than us. But you want to pay attention to those narratives that they lived through, because that's how they perceived life from. That's where the belief systems started being created from. And those belief systems are still living through your body. So when you go after your dreams, when you go into the unknown, they get activated the most, right? That's when you become more aware of them. So when you notice like everything is collapsing so fast, everything is going wrong, really take a pause and come back into your stillness. Come back into here, your God-given throne, and just be still. And then notice all these stories that are coming alive. Notice what gets really activated in your body. What stories, what timelines are getting activated. And that timeline's open through here, right? You perceive through here. Your third eye, your where you imagine through, right? You see people who are not really here, right? You see people from your past that are not really here. It's happening all here, right? So pay attention to that. What story, what themes are getting activated? And when you do that, you're actually witnessing and experiencing your ancestors in form. So we talk a lot about generational curses, but we never talk about generational blessings. And I mean, it's I think it comes with the territory, because we've been surviving as a collective. We've been surviving for such a long time, but now with the new earth, we're being challenged to thrive regardless. We're being told to challenge to perceive higher than our ancestors could, because they were busy being chased by lions, right? Just to get some berries, just to get something to eat for the next 7 days, right? It was a different time and era, but they went through that so that you could incarnate in this lifetime and transmute that for your purpose. So this is how you want to think higher. You want to perceive higher than your conditioning, higher than the collective. And it doesn't come from, your human is going to perceive like, man, like they're rejecting me, oh, they're perceiving me a specific way, oh, they don't like me, oh, I'm not pretty enough. That's the human level. You want to rise to your soul level. Your soul level, she's bored with all of this. She's bored with all these drama, human drama. She's like, oh, yeah, whatever, right? But your soul's like, how are we gonna fit this puzzle together? What are we gonna create? What magic are we gonna cook? She's there because it's more exciting, it's exhilarating, there's possibilities, limitless possibilities. That's where your highest potential is at. So how you get there is contingent to the relationship you have with your most authentic self. It's not about making your most authentic self wrong and not hiding, right? Hiding from the world. Because when we hide from the world, right? And we're acting and performing, it's taking away from our opportunity to really see ourselves and allowing other people to be mirrors to see ourselves deeper than we are perceiving ourselves. And this is why we need other people, right? Yes, we are the main character of our life all the time. We are the center role, right? Because we're always perceiving ourselves through other people. We think other people are perceiving us, but really we're perceiving ourselves through other people. And we believe they're perceiving us that way. But it's all you, right? You're the constant from the time you enter this earth realm to the point where you exit, right? And your time in your meat suit ends. So you really want to anchor into your pure awareness. Pure awareness. Your pure awareness is not attached to your identity, how other people perceive you, how other people project onto you, what some rando said to you on social media or in public, some bully said to you. No, it's not contingent on that, because it's in knowing that everyone's most authentic self. Everybody has a most authentic self, has a soul, has their own stories that they're internalizing and projecting onto the world. So this is the soul mind that I talk about. There's the human mind and the soul mind. So you want to understand how to work with your human mind to in service to your soul mind. You're not rejecting your human mind, which is what a lot of these spiritual teachers, gurus are teaching you. They're teaching you to reject your human mind. We incarnated into the human flesh for a reason. If we were gonna use our soul mind, why would we incarnate, right? So we incarnated into this body, this specific bloodline for a reason, because we knew that there was a mind matrix that would be in service to a soul blueprint. So you want to work with whatever madness that you're experiencing in service to your mission, in service to what you came here to create. And yes, sometimes your mission might not be that obvious to you yet, because there's there's the foundation, and then there's the flow, and then there's the walls, and then there's the different rooms, and then there's the windows, and then there's the roof, and then there's the painting. Well, there's the cement over, and then the painting, and then the decoration. There's levels to this. And sometimes because of our human mind, the human matrix, it limits our possibilities, it limits what's possible. So, and this is why we need other people, because other people will mirror back to us where we're limiting ourselves. So when you notice yourself getting jealous of other people, feeling intimidated by other people, feeling some type of way for somebody who's showing up in their best version of themselves, that's an opportunity to really sit with that uncomfortable feelings and really ask yourself, like, ooh, where is this pointing me within myself? Which part of me is pushing that down this version of me, right? And then this is where you start working. You're not making what you're feeling and experience, what your human is experiencing, wrong. You're working with it, right? So you're using that mind matrix to come back within yourself, to look at the limitation and asking yourself, like, well, this version of me, where is she? What is she doing? How does she perceive my current self? Right? And this is where you lean in deeper into that person who's projecting this. So, and I want you to pay attention to what specifically is triggering you. It could be what they're saying. It could be how they look, how they carry themselves, how the attention they get, the kind of caliber of people who are in their vicinity. Because I mean, some of us might think like, oh, it's about the money, it's about the views and the attention, and your ego might perceive it that way, but your soul will perceive it differently, right? There's always nuance to everything. So you might think like, oh, this person has 1 million views, they're liked, they're loved. You might associate the 1 million views with something different, right? For me, it could be like 1 million views, it means that they are respected. For you, might be 1 million views might mean that they belong. So you want to really go deeper into what that means. What that means for you, for your soul, not for your ego, right? Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, and really be honest with yourself. It's uncomfortable because you're going beyond your mind matrix and going deep into your true self. There's just, with your true self, there's just a knowing. And that knowing is the one that's clashing against the matrix, the external matrix, the world matrix, the old earth matrix, right? So once you come into your true self, it becomes easier to know what is not yours. It amplifies, right? So your soul came here with nothing, is going to leave with nothing. And I mean in the terms of material possessions, right? So that in itself will make it easier for you to not attach your worth and your identity to what you have, because that's the ego mind. It attaches its identity through what you have. And you make it work for you. When you're creating a new ID, a new concept of self, a new era, right? This is the work we do in the temples. When you're creating a new era, and your old era is dying off, and you're creating a new era, you'll be using materials to build this new persona, this new identity that you're walking through life through. You'll be walking life through, right? Your soul is creating an avatar that you'll be making your deals with, you'll be connecting with people through, because you're limitless, right? But this avatar that you're creating is not everything that you are. It's when you make it like, this is the only person I am, and you become so rigid, there's no fluidity. That's when life becomes like, ugh. And when it's not like that, when things don't manifest exactly the way you want, you become depressed, you become anxious, you become sad, right? Because you're not being fluid with life. It's not your true nature. There's a reason why we're mostly water in our body, and we're mostly space too. We're mostly space. I mean, have you noticed when people get burnt, right, and all the water evaporates? It's just like a small urn like this, very tiny. We're mostly space. So the space that you have within yourself, are you constricting it, or are you expanding it? What are you filling up your space with? And that space too is mirrored in the things that you're collecting. Are you using the things that you're collecting, or are you just holding on to them out of survival, or as a way to barricade yourself from the world? And we often do this with weight. I know. This is what got mirrored to me with my weight. But I'm grateful for it, because it called me to fall deeper in love with myself without needing to seek external validation about what weight means about my worth, my desirability, my likeness, right? We're all going through the human experience, and it's always going to look different. So you want to own your own path. So even when somebody comes in with contradicting belief systems, you're like, oh, interesting, cool, right? And then when you notice that you're getting triggered, then it's an opportunity to go deeper within yourself and really seek within, not in them, within yourself, to really figure out like what's going on, what's here for me. And it's not always gonna look the way you think it's gonna look, right? You might, for some people, it might look like, oh yeah, I'm going This is my coach. This is my person who's going to support me. For some people, it might be, oh, I'm getting more clarity. And it has nothing to do with what they're saying. It's about who they're being, right? It's about maybe one comment under the post, and then it leads you in a loophole. Maybe somebody said something that takes you into another, right? It's never what it seems like. It's always deeper than what it looks like. So I want you to really play with this and really detach yourself from how you used to perceive life and how you were taught and conditioned to perceive life. Ooh, and also if you're super depressed, get yourself some kombucha. You want to get those gut health. You want to protect your gut health. Ginger. I used to make my own kombucha. Right now, I cannot. But making your own kombucha, it's a spiritual process because it's medicine. There's also, what is it? That alkaline one. I forgot what the alkaline is. Kefir. That one is also good. And I'm also curious what you guys use. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's on to gut health. Okay. So what else are we talking about today? So yes. So of course, naturally from witnessing your timelines collapsing. So when you come back into your soul blueprint, all those false timelines are gonna collapse. It's automatic. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it's scary, especially when you've been using it as a source of comfort, as a source of identity, like this is who I am. And when you're watching all these old friends who you thought were your friends, where you got your sense of self from, where you got your sense of worth from, they're all crumbling away. It's going to be very revealing. It's going to reveal all the roots of your false self. Your false self is the one that is not in alignment with your soul blueprint. It's the self that was created from conditioning, from trauma, from wounds, and all that stuff. So when you come back into your soul blueprint and you start creating, even the action of coming within yourself and actually being aware, like, oh, this is my soul truth, this is my ego, this is not really who I truly am, right? And ego's not wrong. We're not killing. Everyone's like, oh, kill your ego, kill your ego. It happens automatically. It's a cycle, like 4 seasons, right? But it's not about making the ego death wrong or even trying to make your ego wrong. It's about witnessing what the ego really is, right? Where was I? So yeah, when you come back into your soul blueprint, all those false timelines created by your false self will collapse. And when they collapse, again, I want you to come back to your stillness. I want you to amplify your toolkit. You want to create your own toolkit, right? You really want to tune in into your weaknesses and really prioritize your toolkit. Your toolkit is what helps you take care of your inner being, what helps you to close the loops. So let's say right now you're feeling lack and you're feeling like you're in survival mode. What can you use in your toolkit, or what can you add in your toolkit that helps you to bring back that balance so that you feel stable and secure? And for me, that's EFT. And EFT videos are free on YouTube, right? You can learn these videos. You can go like intensely for like a 1 week, learning video after video on specific emotions that are active in your body. And after that, you can create your own. It's easy. And you can use ChatGPT too for that. And it's something that I teach you in the temples as well. I don't give it for free, right? It's a skill set. But you want to really explore yourself and really pay attention, like, what are my needs? Okay, I'm feeling anxious. What can I learn from YouTube, right? We're in the information age. Everything is free. What can I learn? Okay, breath work. For me, it's breath work. For you, it might look like taking a walk. It might look like dancing. It might look like creating. It might look like journaling. It might look different, right? It might look like running. It might look like swimming. It might look like going to the beach. It might look like just talking to a wall. I don't know, whatever it looks like. It's not wrong. It's your process. But it's not about what works for me. It's about understanding what works for you, and what worked for you last time might not work for you this time. So that's why you want a toolbox, a toolkit, so that you can explore. You'll be like, okay, last time it was a screwdriver. This time will be like a, I don't know what that thing is called. Right? It might be that thing. So yeah, really hone in on that, so that when these timelines collapse, you have a toolkit to fall back on, so that you are back in your in that clear, in that detached, pure awareness self, which is your true self. So that when you make decisions, and when you're in their known, the decisions become so apparent, they become so easier. Easier. This work is not easy. It becomes easier. You want to set yourself up so that it's easier. When it becomes easier, there's no that heaviness that comes with not being in alignment with the old matrix, with old earth. It becomes now all about creating a new reality, a new system. Because the role of being a black sheep, of having soul leadership, it comes with experiencing the fall of the old matrix within yourself. And that's scary, right? But not everybody can do it, and that's why you are assigned the role, right? So that means automatically you are badass certified soul, on the soul level, on the cell level. So you want to stop thinking like the old matrix, like these people who disconnect you from that badassery, right? You want to come back into your soul blueprint and align yourself with people who mirror that back to you. And it has nothing to do with like inflating your ego, right? Of course, we need people who keep us in check. It's not comfortable, but it's about being poured into your center. People who pour into your center, who pour into your enoughness, into your God-given throne. Because your God-given throne is always there. But the mind makes you perceive that it's not there, that you have to do extra stuff for you to get it, right? So what is your madness if you're brave enough? If you're brave enough, comment below, what is your madness teaching you? What is your madness? The madness, the mind matrix that you were gifted by your bloodline, how is it serving your most authentic self right now? And also, I mean, this is your what you're creating. You don't need to comment this, but really reflect on like what does it look like? What North Star are you being led to? Because it's always there. It's always there. Where you're going, what you're creating, your genius, it's always there. It's when we stop attaching our identity to the mind matrix and actually detach and see it as technology and see it as a tool to get us what we truly want. That's when you actually start living in the limitless way, in a way that blows people's mind, because you're not thinking like the average human. You're thinking from your soul's mind, right? This is where the genius comes in. You're gonna be perceived crazy, and that's why you know, like, okay, I've left the matrix. Goodbye. Right? That's when you can start charging people crazy money, because not everybody wants to be in the matrix. Everybody wants to be free, right? I mean, that's the reason why the Matrix movie is so popular, because it mirrors the collective subconscious desire of the collective, that we don't want to be working, exchanging our time, our energy for just $20 an hour. Like, just $20 an hour, my energy. Imagine what that does to the mind, to the psyche. Like, I'm worth more than that. But we're taught that we need to sacrifice our bodies, our minds, our time with our loved ones for just $20 an hour. And we have to have 4 jobs just to survive, just to make ends meet. Can you just imagine that? And meanwhile, our soul blueprint says that I'm God's child. Everything that God owns in this universe, I automatically have inheritance for it. But because of the mind matrix that we collected from our ancestors, from our parents' conditioning, right? It becomes so real for us, and we believe that's the only reality. And this is why your soul blueprint is the the key to your freedom, because it helps you transmute all of that. It shows you the codes. But the blueprint in action happens in faith. It happens in the unknown. It happens through spirit. It doesn't happen through knowing everything. It happens in knowing what next step to take, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. Like, it's like building blocks, right? So it's not about your ego, like, oh, look at me, I'm successful. Nah, that's not the path. Your embodiment would do that for you automatically. The work that you're doing would do that for you automatically. It's an energy. There's no proving. There's no being something that you're not. There's just being witnessed as your greater self. There's just being, existing, right? There's no that extra stuff. Yeah, once in a while that ego will come in, be like, oh yeah, 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 and you're gassing yourself up, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the center, right? This is just a little tool that you use to gas yourself up, to, to celebrate yourself and all that stuff. But at your true core, at your center, you just are. You've always been. And when you come back to your soul, also blueprint, you realize that at our soul, we know each one of us. We're perceiving each other was through the one lens of God at our soul. But other people don't have the ability because they're only perceiving through the mind matrix. They're perceiving through the distortions, the conditioning. But as you're doing the work, you can witness who's home too, right? Who's home? Here. Who's home? You can see it through the eyes. Who's really home? The eyes tell you everything. And when you notice yourself, like you're looking at someone's eyes and you're like, this person is not for me, and then you talk yourself out of that, you gotta stop that ish, because that's what puts you in a lot of problems. You gotta listen to your soul. You gotta listen to your center and really pay attention. Stillness. That's what you need, stillness. And just pay attention to how people are showing up. Like, interesting. And sometimes it might not even make sense in that moment, but maybe 10 years, 2 years, a month later, you'll be like, yeah, I made the right decision. Or maybe I didn't make the right decision, but it was a lesson. Now I know better. I have my discernment is sharper. I have more precision in who I allow who I allow myself to co-create with, who I allow myself to be in close proximity with energetically. Because we can't choose who we're physically in proximity with, especially we're in the public. Yes, in your home, in spaces where you have control, you can. But when you're in the public, when you're at work, when you're out in spaces on social media, you can't really choose who you're in proximity to. But energetically, you can, by choosing what you associate your energy with. And that's the medicine. That's the spiritual practice. It's a daily thing. And even though you might do 20 years and then one day you might falter, that one day you falter doesn't make your true identity. It's the intention that makes your identity. What are you intending through every action? What is your motivation for the actions you're making? So if you notice that everything you've built, it still feels off, your architecture, your inner architecture is off. Your architecture is off. And it doesn't mean that what you have within yourself, it all has to dismantle. It just means that you want to change the way you perceive where you currently are within yourself. You want to change how you perceive your past selves, how you perceive yourself through other people, how you perceive your most authentic self. It's all about perception. And once you master that, the awareness, the right questions come through, because you're not working against your human, you're working with your human. And that's where the soul comes in. The soul starts downloading these genius codes that the external world perceives as madness, but really they're just blueprints. Like, I'm saving you and your bloodlines lives, right? I'm saving your ass. So chillax somewhere, grab a seat somewhere, right? That's where that gnosis, that embodiment comes from. It's when you stop making who you are and who you've been wrong, but you start manipulating the energy you've been given in alignment with your soul blueprint, in alignment with the greatest good of everybody and your higher self, right? You are actually the divine embodied. You're allowing matter, your physical body, your most authentic self and spirit to come together and co-create. So you're working with it. And this is something we do in, I forgot the temple's name. Let me just check, hold on. The Temple of Ultimate Transfiguration. It's the temple where you get most of my energy and time for 1 year, and we manipulate that madness into gold, right? You learn how to restructure your the inner architecture that's supporting your soul. Because right now it's not supporting your soul. It's working against your soul because of the conditioning, because of the belief systems passed down from your bloodline that are now outdated and need to be reprogrammed and updated. So you want to work with them, but you want to know how to work with them so that it doesn't create more chaos, right? The chaos is just a work in progress. It becomes a work in progress as long as you know how to marry your spirit and your body to in the present moment to your most authentic self and work with it, maneuver with it moment to moment, right? It's about embodying that version of you who God sees you as, who God has always seen you as, right? And it's not about how other people perceive you, how other people tell you to show up in the world. No, it's actually the opposite. It's about really being in tune with your spirit and creating a life in honor to that, in honor with your most authentic self. And there's no place for shame and judgment. The shame and judgment really is coming from conditioning. It's coming from your life not looking the way other people are projecting it should look like, really. And it's also being impatient with the process. Like a mansion it's not going to be built in the same time period as like a normal house would. So you really want to keep things in perspective. Really. I hope I spoke about everything. Yeah, so if your business is feeling empty, your soul is not in it, your true self is not in it, so you want to really rearrange all of that. But yeah, I think I'm empty now. I've said everything I wanted to say. I'm curious what got most activated for you. Just leave it below in the comment section. Otherwise, if you need support, you can find it. I'll leave the link below, or you can find it in the about section. Come join us in our temples. And be transformed, be renewed. Otherwise, see you on the other side.